Right.
and the accomplishment of being part of the drug development
Uh-huh.
journey, entrepreneur having a macro overview
Overview.
of
Mm.
the end-to-end life,
Right.
balancing agility
Mm-hmm.
and compliance is definitely in the healthcare. If I have to say carbon footprint within, again, coming back to healthcare that I
Healthcare.
know best.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, brought to you by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Charu Mehra, and today we have the privilege of speaking with a leader who has been redefining the landscape of healthcare and pharmaceuticals. Our guest today is Dr. Saswati Roy, a visionary entrepreneur, strategist, and innovator with over 20 years of experience. But beyond her impressive career, she's someone who thrives in disruptive environments, transforming challenges into opportunities. Whether it's scaling businesses to sustainable models, pioneering cost-saving innovations, or bridging the gap between industry and academia, her impact is far-reaching. Her journey isn't just about leadership, it's about foresight, adaptability, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Today, we'll explore the pivotal moments that shaped her path, the insights she's gathered, and the wisdom she has to share. Dr. Roy, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you and good evening, all. So I'm happy to be part of this event. So looking forward to having the discussion.
Yes, ma'am, we're looking forward to the discussion as well. So, Dr. Roy, every accomplished leader has a journey filled with unexpected turns, breakthrough moments, and lessons that shape their path. Looking back, were there any defining experiences, perhaps a challenge that pushed you forward, or an opportunity that changed everything, that truly shaped your career? And what were those early days like when you first stepped into the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry?
Okay, so this is an interesting question. So I started my career as an academician, after completing my doctorate in endocrinology
Mhm.
from Mumbai University. Always had the aspiration to work in the healthcare sector
Mhm.
and contributed to larger population.
Right,
However, it meant that, moving, so it would have been a paradigm shift, moving
right,
from theoretical to practical
practical,
approach,
right,
right?
right.
So this sector came with several challenges,
Mhm.
and specific challenges, if I have to highlight, in terms of knowledge gap,
Right,
because it was complete movement from academics to the corporate world.
right.
So there was regulatory challenges, there were standards that
Mhm.
had to be, the gaps had to be bridged, then
Right,
operational, clinical. Um, so these were the significant, differences that
right.
I did face
Mhm.
in terms of shifting
Right,
from academics to the healthcare industry.
right.
Uh, so before switching over, what I
Mhm.
thought was it was important to bridge this gap, right?
Right.
And that's when I enrolled myself to a post graduation PG diploma in clinical research management. That too was also from Mumbai University.
Okay.
So that overall opened up lot of avenues.
Mm-hmm.
After I completed, it opened up a lot of avenues, and that's where I did have whatever gaps that was there between, what was required in terms of the
Right,
corporate world was
right,
bridged
right, right,
through this certification.
right, right.
Yeah. And then once I moved to the corporate world, there were
Mm-hmm.
a lot of opportunities in terms of working for multinational companies. And this is
Right.
all within the healthcare
Healthcare.
sector.
Right, right.
And uh, so it was across various therapeutic areas like
Okay.
oncology,
Mm-hmm.
dermatology,
Mm-hmm.
vaccine,
Mm-hmm.
endocrinology,
Mm-hmm.
so ophthalmology.
Okay.
Mhm. And what happened was that, because of
Mm-hmm.
this definitely was across multinational companies across the globe.
Right.
And the accomplishment of being part of the drug development
Uh-huh.
journey, especially for life saving drugs. And we
Right.
know life saving
Hmm.
drugs and vaccines during the COVID times.
Absolutely.
So we all have faced that COVID times.
Right,
So
right.
this was the time where, vaccines and life-saving drugs really was something that, my team worked
Work. Okay.
relentlessly, and
Mm-hmm.
that gave me immense satisfaction. And because of that, I remained in this sector till date.
Right, right. Right. So, ma'am, it's an incredible journey, and it's inspiring to hear those defining moments that shaped your career and your leadership approach. It's you identified that there was a gap, and you took steps to bridge that gap. And in the end, we are seeing such immense career growth and such development.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Moving on. So, transforming pharmaceutical business from ground up into sustainable, profitable models is no small feat, Dr. Roy. We know it takes vision, strategy, and resilience. You've not only built these structures, but have also navigated the complexities that come with them. We'd like to know what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in this transformation, whether they were operational, strategic, or even personal. And how did you push through those moments to create lasting success?
Okay. Thank you. This too is an interesting question. Definitely transitioning from academia to corporate healthcare
Hmm.
sector was a significant shift.
Right.
And biggest hurdles or challenges that I faced was operational challenge.
Hmm.
When I say operational challenge, it was more in terms of, adapting to the different corporate environment,
Right.
adapting to, or rather recalibrating to the goals, success
Hmm.
goals, because
Hmm.
that was different from what was there as an accommodation and what was in terms of the corporate world.
Right. Right.
So, what really also was important was understanding the different metrics
Hmm.
within the corporate world,
Right.
and al- also with the business, I would say the priorities,
Hmm.
because that was important. Given
Right.
that, I am part of the healthcare sector,
Hmm.
that's where, it is very important and paramount that, we go by the deadlines. So
Right.
here there are deadlines, there are timelines in terms of
Right.
delivery, right?
Right. Right.
Because you miss on any timeline, it is like, thousands of dollars is at stake. So
Absolutely.
that was where, you had to recalibrate your working style uh,
Right.
uh, once you move to the corporate world,
Corporate. Mm-hmm.
right? And the, another important aspect that I found was, as academician, it was an individual contributor role,
Right. Right.
right? But when
Right.
I moved to the corporate,
Corporate.
it was more to do with teamwork,
The teamwork.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of dependency on other
Others.
stakeholders,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
that was the biggest gap.
Mm-hmm.
Now, uh, to bridge this gap,
Mm-hmm.
what was important was that you get to understand what is it in this industry. How do I keep myself updated?
Mm-hmm.
That was of paramount importance.
Importance.
And
Right.
that's when I enrolled myself to these organizations, that is Society of Clinical Data Management, that's
Okay.
SCDM.
Okay.
Then it also the Indian Society of Clinical Research,
Mm-hmm.
ISCR. So
Mm-hmm.
these are pillars in itself within the
Okay.
domain of the healthcare industry,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
where you really get to understand that how the metrics work within the
Mm-hmm.
healthcare sector.
Sector.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then how do you work towards the return on investments,
Right.
because that's
Right.
also important. End of
Right.
the day, it is all
A
about
business.
business,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So then, in addition to these two memberships, what also helped was, the in-house training,
Right.
right?
Right.
And getting nominated for external outdoor workshops.
Workshop.
So that also helped. And I was fortunate enough to have good mentors.
Right.
Uh, it, this was very initially
Mm-hmm.
in my career that I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about, that there were
Right.
really good mentors who
Mentors.
mentored me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a cyclic process. You get and you have to give back.
You have to give back.
And then
Absolutely.
later on in my career, I played a mentor than the
Mentor.
mentee.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right.
So that's how there was a continuous learning
Learning.
to upskill, the leadership roles that I played
Right.
in the different organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there were also certain cross functional training that I would want to
Right.
really emphasize,
Mm-hmm.
because until and unless you understand how the hands off are, right,
Right.
and
Right.
where are
Right.
the pain areas, you
Mm-hmm.
really don't get to understand completely. It is not an holistic understanding then.
Understanding.
So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
again, it was very important that the cross functional trainings, that's where I did enroll myself and
Right.
got
Right.
myself trained.
Trained.
And this took care of in terms of understanding the finances aspect.
Mm-hmm.
as a
Mm-hmm.
as an academician, it was really not something that I was looking at then.
Right.
But
Right.
coming to the corporate world, it was very important
Very important.
with
Mm-hmm.
the roles that I took over,
Mm-hmm.
as business leads,
Mm-hmm.
maintaining your P&Ls. It was important that, this
Right.
finance knowledge had to be there.
Be there. Mm-hmm.
And project management knowledge, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is as a project that you have to
Right.
manage.
Right.
So this completely bridge the gap.
Gap. Mm.
And another aspect was, there's also about work life balance in the corporate
Right.
world. And being
Right.
ladies, we
Yes.
do have
Have
to
other.
maintain that balance,
Right. Right.
right,
Right.
between your work and life. And my personal experience and suggestion is that, you should invest on your infrastructures. When I say
Right.
infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
back home, your home should run seamlessly. And
Right.
for that, you should be having, like, I had invested then on having a full
Right.
timer support, taking
Right.
care of my house,
Mm-hmm.
having a driver and a car that was
Right.
required, you
Mm-hmm.
know, so that I could really spend quality time back home with my
Right.
family.
Right.
And this was over the other materialistic requirements in terms of, buying jewelries,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
kind of, buying good clothes. So
Right.
these were
Right.
certainly
So,
not what was in terms of the investments.
mm-hmm.
And these
Mm-hmm.
were the initial years
Right.
that really helped to concentrate and give a real good work life balance,
Balance.
right?
Mm.
And again, coming to, I would like to emphasize that, recalibrating and redefining your success
Mm-hmm.
was key in this whole transformation.
Journey. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that's what I had
Yeah,
to say.
it's such a powerful insight that you gave, Dr. Roy, identifying the gaps and working towards them, how you enrolled in certain societies which helped you in your career in the corporates, and taking that step of learning the end-to-end process so that your work is you understand the entire project, and it's a holistic approach, as you said. And also managing your creating a work life balance. You've had an incredible journey, and it's incredible to hear how you turned those challenges into stepping stones for your success.
Yes. Thank you.
Dr. Roy, stepping away from the structure of corporate leadership to build something of your own is a bold and transformative move. It's a shift that requires not just vision, resilience, but also a willingness to embrace uncertainty. We'd like to know what was the driving force behind your decision to transition into entrepreneurship with SnoBall Data Solutions, and how has this journey reshaped your leadership style compared to your time in the corporate world?
Great. So definitely it was the desire to set up something of my own, and leave a legacy for the next
Next
generation.
generation. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So in my journey, almost 20 plus years within the corporate world,
Mm-hmm.
what there were several opportunities
Right.
that I got. However, what is important is, getting that flexibility. When I
Mm-hmm.
say flexibility, today, right, in my own company, I wear different hats,
Hats.
right? And there is no room for bureaucracy.
Right.
And because of this, I can really turn around things faster.
Faster. Yes.
Yeah. Vis-a-vis this situation in the corporate, when in fact I was working,
Mm-hmm.
I had a very specific role.
Right.
I had to stay within that role,
Right. Right.
right? So that really didn't give me the flexibility to move
Absolutely.
things faster.
For
There were levels of approvals
approvals.
that had to be worked out. You had to
Hmm.
wait, right?
Right. Right.
And you know what happened was, I somewhere really wanted that, uh, the digital healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
that's a booming area,
Right.
and that had to be worked out. And with the experience that I carried, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to bring up the digital, I wanted to work on the digital healthcare space,
Right,
right?
right.
And honestly, uh, I'm enjoying the role that I'm playing today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as an entrepreneur, having a macro overview
Overview.
of
Mm.
the end-to-end life cycle of the projects that
Projects.
I manage.
Right.
And um, as I said, so definitely it is not kind of, I'm not limiting to a specific role.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I would say, uh, is something that is really encouraging me day on day
Right.
to be in this role and take my company further.
Forward. That's an incredible transition, Dr. Roy. And it takes great courage and vision to step up into entrepreneurship. You had that desire to move into digital, pharmaceutical, healthcare division, and you did that successfully. So kudos to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Moving on, we see that the pharmaceutical industry operates in a space where change is constant. New technologies, evolving regulations, and unforeseen disruptions can redefine the landscape overnight. In such a high stake environment, companies must strike a delicate balance between agility and compliance. From your experience, Dr. Roy, what does it truly take for a pharmaceutical business to stay innovative and adaptable while also upholding the highest regulatory and ethical standards?
Yes, this is very, very important question that you have brought up. That's a point that I would like to elaborate.
Right.
Balancing agility
Hmm.
and compliance is definitely in the healthcare sector is critical and it's
Right.
challenging.
Right.
To stay relevant, um, companies have to innovate.
Hmm.
Okay, so there must be innovation done quickly,
Right.
right?
Right.
And I understand that compliance should not to be a limiting factor or roadblock in terms of when you have to innovate or bring innovation within a process,
Process. Hmm.
right? But it should be rather, I would consider that compliance should be an integral part
Part.
of the entire process,
Right. Right. Right.
right? And in my experience, what worked was that at every level, at every
Mhm.
key process steps, you should have toll gates.
Right. Right.
Okay. And what have you have to also see that there is transparency
Hmm.
between teams, between
Right.
the
Right.
regulators, right? Because and you cannot afford to work uh, at silos. It has to be a
Absolutely.
teamwork.
Teamwork.
uh, you work with the different groups. So I
Right.
would say within our industry it has to be the regulatory body and
Mhm.
R&D. They have to
Right.
work together,
Work together.
right?
Right. Right.
And they have to maintain that synergy.
Right. Right.
And the early that you collaborate would really help you in terms of innovating things faster.
Faster.
And this would also mean you are proactive in terms of your approach. So
Hmm.
this has
Hmm.
really worked for me.
Right. Right.
So that's the practical experience that I wanted to share.
Huh. And your perspective is crucial. Like, as you said, that it teams should not work in silos. They should collaborate. They should work together to ensure the success of the project. And finding that balance between agility and compliance is not an easy task. And it is fascinating to hear how you have, successfully navigated these complexities. Dr. Roy, with such an accomplished career in healthcare and pharmaceuticals, you've already made a significant impact through your leadership and innovation. Looking ahead for yourself, what are some of your future professional aspirations? Do you see yourself taking more strategic roles in the boardroom, influencing policy or driving new industry transformation?
Yes. So, as an entrepreneur, uh,
Mm-hmm.
implemented, transparency, then accountability, and ethical decision making. So that's
Making.
again important within the healthcare sector. That's where I
Absolutely.
belong.
Right.
And mm, so definitely healthcare, why I say, because that's within the regulated environment that
Right.
we are. So it is very
Mm-hmm.
important to implement these aspects.
Right. Right.
And similarly, as an independent director, um, would like to extend these expertise to
Mm-hmm.
other companies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Bring fresh perspectives
Right.
and industry expertise
Mm-hmm.
within the boardroom,
Right.
help review, define, and implement processes, ensuring that they align to companies'
Right.
short term as well as long term
Long term.
goals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's inspiring, Dr. Roy, and it's really exciting to hear about your vision for your future. And there is no doubt that your leadership will continue to make a lasting impact.
Thank you.
In today's business landscape, ESG has become a key priority for businesses across industries, shaping the way companies operate and make decisions. From your perspective, Dr. Roy, what do you think? Rather, why do you think ESG is no longer just a compliance requirement, but a fundamental necessity for sustainable and responsible business growth?
Yes, that's very important question, and it definitely aligns with what our Prime Minister is also looking at in terms
Right.
of the vision that he
Hmm.
has, the
Hmm.
2070 vision.
Right.
So I say that environmental, social, and governance,
Yeah.
right, is just has moved beyond compliance. It's just
Absolutely.
not a mere compliance requirement,
Right.
and it's a core driver.
Hmm.
It's a core driver to sustainable and I would say responsible business growth. And as definitely we are looking at in terms of reducing the carbon footprint by 50%,
Right. Right.
say by 2030. I believe
Hmm.
that's the time frame that's been
Right.
given.
Hmm.
And having the entire economy to be net zero carbon by
Right.
2070
Right.
is something that every company needs to be aligned to,
Line two. Hmm.
right? And companies which embed ESG
Right.
within their strategy
Hmm.
would gain a competitive edge over the
Absolutely.
others,
Others.
right? And that would bring in long term profitability.
Right.
Then I would say trust in terms
Hmm.
of the stakeholders,
Hmm.
right? And also important is within the international market.
Market.
This is just not when I say that, profitability, building in trust within the Indian context, but looking at the international market that you
Market.
can tap,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um, and the benefits of ESG would be Definitely, if I have to say carbon footprint within, again, coming back to healthcare that I
Healthcare.
know best, I can talk
Mm-hmm.
about. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you really have to adopt to renewable energy,
Energy sources.
yeah,
Mhm.
eco-friendly medical devices,
Right,
uh,
right.
uh, then medical practices.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so what will happen is this will definitely bring in energy efficiency
Right.
within the environment,
Mm-hmm.
proper disposal of medical
Waste.
I would say waste.
Right.
That's important, and
Mm-hmm.
reduction of single use of plastics
Plastic. Mm-hmm.
to improve the environmental health,
Right,
right?
right.
And cost savings through efficiency, I would say, that is, we did speak about energy conservation,
Right,
water
right.
management, waste
Mm-hmm.
reduction.
Induction.
So this definitely would link to the lower operational cost.
Right,
I
right.
see it that way in terms of
Mm-hmm.
the environmental benefits.
Right.
Coming to the social benefits, I would say definitely improve the patient care. There would
Mm-hmm.
be improvement and the overall health outcome.
Right.
So ethical practices would, I would say, the diversity in terms of, the clinical trials,
Mm-hmm.
the equitable access to,
Right,
the care
right,
would definitely enhance the patient well-being.
right, right.
And another important point is employee well-being, right? That would
Absolutely.
also relate to retention,
Right.
right? And so there, so what I could highlight is fair wages would be
Mm-hmm.
one,
Right,
mental health programs.
right.
Also, I would say workplace safety.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would improve the staff productivity. It would be
Absolutely.
related to
Right,
staff productivity and retention.
right.
So, stronger the community engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Definitely, ESG driven healthcare would providers invest in local health initiatives, right?
Right, right,
And
right.
when I say health initiatives, it could be the vaccine programs, then you
Mm-hmm.
could have the disease prevention efforts. So
Right,
this
right.
would socially impact. This is
Impact.
one of the
Absolutely.
examples within the healthcare industry.
Right, right.
Then coming to governance,
Governance.
that's definitely important. So what I see is regulatory compliance and risk
Mm-hmm.
um, will reduce, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what will happen is strong governance will ensure adherence to laws that
Laws.
are there in place,
Right, right.
reducing the risk in terms of patients' life. That would
Right.
reduce penalties, lawsuits,
Foods.
right?
Right,
Um,
right.
then uh, coming to governance, also important is data security,
Purity.
because we are within the healthcare and we are
Right.
talking about patient data.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
data security and privacy protection will be an
Mm-hmm.
important role.
Role.
And then enhancing the cyber security. When I say
Mm-hmm.
data protection, definitely it will be enhancing the cyber security is
Cybersecurity.
important. And given that, we talk about AI nowadays,
Absolutely.
everybody, so AI is
Everybody.
also very importantly
Important.
kind of playing a role within the healthcare sector.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So ethical AI also would be safeguarding the patients,
Patients.
right? The
Right. Right.
information will safeguard and it will build that patient trust.
Trust.
So this is where I see that, corporate governance would boost the investors' confidence. If you
Right.
overall see that,
Overall.
these things are in place,
Right.
and it will also strengthen long-term business relationships and viability.
Relationships. Right. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what I see as ESG playing a role.
Right, right. And I think that ESG is like, it's need of the hour, not just a compliance requirement these days. And your perspective is so important, and it's really fascinating to hear your views on ESG. And also, we see that it is becoming a core part of strategic decision making these days.
Yes, very much.
Yes. Dr. Roy, stepping into the world of corporate governance requires continuous learning and strategic insights. We've seen in the past you've constantly, uh, gone ahead and increased your knowledge about things, about different gaps that you've bridged through increasing your knowledge. What motivated you to join Directors Institute, and how has this experience influenced your approach to leadership, decision making, and your role in the boardroom?
Perfect. Okay. So definitely again coming back to as I did speak about, I started my career as an academician, and after completing my doctorate, what was important is as an entrepreneur, I
Right.
found that there was certain aspects in terms of company laws. Let me give an
Mm-hmm.
example.
Okay.
Then the different governance that we talk about.
Mhm.
Yeah, there were certain. I have touched upon these aspects, but then
Right.
again within the role that I played.
Mm-hmm.
But given now, I as an entrepreneur. For me, I was looking at a course which would give me an overall
Wow.
understanding and give me that confidence to take my
Right.
company to the next level.
Next level. Mm-hmm.
Today, SnoBall is LLP, and I see that it moving to a public limited company.
Company.
For that, it is essential that I understand what is it in terms of
Mm-hmm.
the company laws, the
Laws.
different stakeholder management, what happens within the boardroom, what are the kind of decisions that is taken.
Taken.
So with that,
Right.
keeping that in mind, and any which ways, that is something that I've been doing in my organization. I thought that, I came across Directors Institute curriculum, and I
Mm-hmm.
found it to be a total compact curriculum
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the theory aspect. What
Okay.
also was very interesting was, the live sessions taken by the leaders.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that gave, and these leaders are stalwarts in their own way,
Right.
and they are the ones who have shared practical examples,
Examples. Mm-hmm.
right? They have given insight, enriching experience to hear
Right.
them. And it's all about getting to understand through
Mm-hmm.
these live sessions
Right.
how it is that one has to be within the role.
Right.
So
Right.
and because of that, I took up this course,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely it benefited me more than not just about the certification. It was the content, the course content,
Right.
that
Right.
gave me confidence in my day to day role that
Mhm.
I was playing. within my
Right.
company. And
Mhm.
I look forward to having more opportunities to bring those changes within the other listed companies.
Dr. Roy, this conversation has been nothing short of insightful and inspiring. Your journey from driving innovation in healthcare and pharmaceuticals to shaping the future of corporate governance reflects a remarkable blend of expertise, resilience, and vision. The perspectives you've shared with us today will undoubtedly resonate with aspiring leaders and industry professionals alike. It has been an absolute privilege to have you with us today, and we truly appreciate the depth of knowledge and experience you've brought to this discussion.
Thank you so much. Pleasure was all mine. You gave an opportunity, Directors Institute has given an opportunity to express my experience and my
Right,
journey. Thank you so
right.
much.
We look forward to seeing the incredible impact you continue to make, both in leadership and beyond. Thank you once again for joining us on FaceTime with Leaders. Have a good day.